Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afkar, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. So, yeah, very happy to connect with you again live. Um, and also really excited that Erica VanEaton is back on the show. She's been joining us every season for the last few years, and I have to say, whenever she joins us, I really feel excited about the call and the experience we'll be having, because every time is very inspiring, very eye-opening to, how to say, to some aspects of ourselves, of our truth that many times we are not able to understand or to grasp, because like we are constantly shifting, and as we are shifting, like we are opening to new energies, new lights that we are not used to, and at the same time trying to let go of old patterns and traumas that are known, that are familiar, and there might be some confusion. And I love how Erica really approached those subjects and really helped to go deep into connecting to our truth and embodying the new energies. And so today's subject is releasing the energetic ties to the past through play. So we'll be discussing that, and also we'll have a Q&A later on the call where you can ask Erica your questions. So if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. If you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And for those of you who are new to Erica, she is a quantum alchemist, intuitive and life coach, channel, and international speaker. And so with that, Erica, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Always, always fun playing with you and your crew of people that listen to this show, because everyone loves to play and is expansive and is willing just to go wherever source leads us. So I'm excited to play.
Wonderful. So let's start in the beginning talking about that shift that we are going through, because many times, as I just mentioned, it can be confusing because the new light, the new energy, it's new, it's not familiar, and the patterns that we are letting go of, they are more familiar. Sometimes they are more like our comfort zone. So how can we approach these times and this shift?
This is such a layered question. When we think about subjects like this, we need to think about them from like a sphere perspective. When we think of things like in a sphere, then we can it gives our brain something to latch onto to help us see ourselves multidimensionally. So we're thinking about looking from the front, from the back, from the sides. So when we're releasing, we are releasing multidimensionally, energetically and physically. So our physical container is made up of minerals, microbacteria, parasites, all these things. And they're not just living on one dimensional plane. I think sometimes we think about our body consciousness and our physical body and coming to a place of, well, that's Earth, it's really just Earth, and having the mindset that that's, just a third dimensional thing, but our body itself and the minerals and the microbacteria that make up this physical substance is multidimensional. All these organisms, we're basically a macroorganism with trillions of microorganisms living within this container, and they are all multidimensional beings of light. And so the kind of light that has been able to be reflected through our cells and metabolized by our mitochondria in the past has been limited by the emotional warfare that we have used on the earth, because it downgraded their overall vibrational level. And so every vibrational level plays into different dimensional fields. And within these dimensional fields, you think about colors, because It's all sound and light, and they are all colors, and each color is a different frequency. And so the kind of light that our bodies have been able to not just absorb, but reflect back out to our surroundings has been pretty limited as far as the spectrum is concerned. So when we are releasing traumas, and alongside traumas, when we do deep healing work, when we find these limiting beliefs and programs, there's a certain range of chemicals and peptides that have been stored in our tissues related to that occurred in response to the trauma or the experience. So as we're releasing those frequencies, we are opening our cells up and our mitochondria up to be able to emit and metabolize new rays of light. So that takes some physical adjusting, and it's uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable for the body as it's literally rearranging its molecular structure. It's rearranging the crystalline structure within the waters of the body. And that can lead to headaches and body aches and like things getting stuck for just a moment. And then it throws us off because pain is so loud and we think that we're doing something wrong. When really, if we just continue to breathe into it and release it without judging it, without judging ourselves, going back into judgment that we're doing something wrong, then that is an initiation and an opening for us to begin to really embody more light, because it keeps the nervous system calm. So as we're shifting consciously, so we're shifting physically, that's one thing, but consciously we have access to new realms, right? We are having access to new levels of consciousness that we haven't had access to for a very long time. Not really, not even something that a physical body has ever been able to hold before. Energy. So it's energy that we've never physically been able to hold before. And we are rearranging our structures at the same time. So it can be very overwhelming, and we can feel like we're getting bombarded, and it can feel like you're taking one step forward and then 10 steps back all at the same time. We just need to breathe. And if we come at it from a space of play, and then we come home over and over again to ourselves, and we don't take it too seriously, because nobody knows what they're doing here, right? We are just experimenting and playing. No one can absolutely say this is how we need to do it, because honestly, nobody knows. So if we come at it from a space of play and just experimenting, well, okay, let me see if this is how I can embody this understanding, right? Because as we reach these new levels of consciousness, the concepts themselves can be very confusing, and they're layered. They're living in multidimensional fields. So we're asking the mind to expand, we're asking the body to shift, we're asking the ego to operate in a new way, we're asking our organelles within our cells to metabolize new light, and all at the same time. And so just give yourself some grace that nobody here is doing it perfectly. No one here has the exact right answer. And everyone's truth is going to be different in regards to this situation. So it's about coming back home over and over again and learning how to consume your own energy so that you can break the bonds with these outdated paradigms, experiences, and memories that are in the energy field, so that you can come home to yourself and start to release a different set of chemicals to the body. Everything is going to be upgraded over time. Things like your serotonin, your feel-good hormones, your feel-good chemicals, those vibrations are going to change as your cells begin to metabolize light differently, because every organelle is upgrading and shifting and changing. So what felt good 10 years ago is just going to feel like meh now. It's going to continue to feel better and better, but it's going to take a little time, and we just have to keep coming home and breathing in our own essence.
Yeah, Yeah, I love how you describe that. Because first it gives lots of relief because we are constantly trying to figure out how things are working and we try to make it right. And like just want to share an experience I had before just a couple of weeks ago. Like I was trying to figure out everything happening in my life, try to be in control, but then I got a cold and I had to just stop and relax. It was uncomfortable in the beginning, but then I realized like I can just stop and just relax. I don't need to figure out anything. I just need to be. And I mean, it was quite maybe a relief because we just let go of those maybe responsibilities and heavy energy that we keep holding on to. Um, but yes, sometimes it feels like we are giving up on things, or maybe we will be missing out on things happening, or feeling more like this energy of responsibility that we should always be doing something. Um, yeah. So, uh,
I think
so
that's really
how?
important what you said. Always feel like we should be doing something. I feel like I should be listening to this MP3. I feel like I should be meditating, clearing my energy field. I feel like I should be exercising or eating this or that. And the most important thing right now is just being. Because every time we have that energy of I should be doing this or something, it makes us wrong, right? It puts us, our nervous system kind of starts to get overstimulated because it is trying to think of what we should be doing or going this way or that way. And the only way to regulate and embody what we need to embody and allow to shift what needs to shift is if we keep the nervous system calm. And you did that beautifully when you decided to let go of control, but you do it without pressing, oh, I just need to let go, I need to let go, I need to let go. That just keeps us amped up. So we're like, okay, well, how do I let go of control? Well, the only thing I can do right now is to take a deep breath, because if I take a deep breath and then I take another deep breath and I'm just thinking about that deep breath going in and out, that's going to start to calm down the nervous system. That's going to start to release a different set of chemicals to the body. And okay, I let go for a moment.
Um, yeah, and also I realized like in the time where we let go, we can witness life starting to flow more easily. Um, and maybe this is something we are not used to in the past due to past traumas and patterns that um, we've been having. Um, so so maybe what my question is, what is your advice when we are in that point of time where we feel it feels like very real, like those old patterns, because they are coming to the surface and maybe difficult to maybe believe that we are shifting to something new. We are shifting to maybe a new way of being and creating.
Perfect. There's a large council of beings here that keep coming through. For those of you who are new or don't know me very well or haven't worked with me much, I'm a conscious channeler, so I go in and out. And every time you see me take a big breath, that's usually when they're coming in. So, hold on. Up to this point in time, we have been really learning how to manifest and create from a space of duality, because that's the third dimension. It creates from a negative and a positive, and that is what pushes our creations. And so even through manifestation, wanting and desiring something new, we've been utilizing pain and trauma in a way to push us forward. And that has worked up to a point. And it's the pain of not having something, or it's the pain of experiencing something that has made us turn and shift and be like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I want this over here. And then we start to direct our attention and intention that direction, and that is how we have done a lot of our manifestation. But that isn't how it works in other dimensional realms. It only works in the third dimensional realm. So, and there's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing bad about it. But if we're wanting to play in a more expansive way, then we're going to have to learn how to play from a space of neutrality, of instead of the yin and yang, of coming into a state of calm and peace, and just intentionally moving something forward, moving an intention forward. Now, these limiting beliefs and programs often come up very strongly when we are really deciding what we want. Because in the past, we have used it. We have used that pain to push us forward, like we described before. So instead of even thinking that I need to clear this block, right? How many clearings have we all done? I need to clear this block. I need to clear that block. Just look at it and say, thank you. It's almost surrendering to the pain that we have experienced and allowed ourselves to play in. Because when we do that, it takes all of the power out of that trauma, out of that block. It takes all of our energy away from it, and it deflates it in the energy field, because we aren't feeding it negativity anymore. We aren't feeding it the frequencies. So when we experience a painful thing and we start to think, oh, I thought I cleared this 1,000 times already. Why is this coming up again? Instead of judging it, just say thank you. And thank you to everyone involved that played with me in this alternate reality. It sucked, but I'm grateful that we can now be done. And I'm going to bring all my energy home. How am I going to do that? Sometimes it helps us to visualize being again in that sphere. And instead of all these energies flowing out of the sphere into these past traumas, into this balloon over here that said I'm not enough, into this balloon over here that said I'm lack and poverty, or I'm shame and I'm a failure, or I'm a victim. We look at all of these, imagine all these arrows turning around and pointing back to you and coming back home. And then if we bring those up through the root and we take a big breath, the signal that we're telling ourselves, because even though those frequencies were coming from our body to that memory, so it was a low vibrational frequency, if we turn around and bring that home and we bring it into our root, we're telling ourselves we weren't wrong. We weren't bad. We weren't a failure for having those feelings, for having those thoughts, for having those experiences, for creating that trauma. We're saying, I accept and love you for all that you are. So we bring all of our crap home. We bring it all the way home, and we imagine it coming from the spine and moving its way up, accepting it, loving it, breaking the ties to these past things, releasing the sense of shame and failure, and beginning to consume ourselves in a way that is loving and acceptance of all that we are, of being human, which calms the nervous system again. It's signaling to the body again that I am safe, that I trust all that I am, that I am enough as I am. And it's reigniting our source energy codes, because our source energy codes is our I am. And so if I am consuming all that I am, I'm consuming the crap that I've experienced. I'm consuming the failure, the shame, all the crap. If I am consuming that, I'm saying that I wasn't wrong. And if I'm not wrong, then I'm not separate from source, because I am source. So we're coming home over and over again to release the separation between us and source, so that we can know ourselves as source. time and time again. And so the only way to do that is to bring everything back home, breathing through it, calming down the nervous system so that we can begin again to release a different set of chemicals that are much higher in vibration. If I am in acceptance of my failure, of my shame, if I am that, then I am of God. I'm not separate from these frequencies. I am raising the frequency of shame into pure acceptance and love. Every emotion that we have stems from the core of every emotion that we've ever experienced is divine love. It's just living in different dimensional planes. They're just different frequencies of divine love. So if I'm bringing all of that back home, I am healing my sense of separation from self, my sense of separation from source. And I am up-leveling, I am increasing the frequency of every single emotion, human emotion, that I'm always going to have. And I'm going to create a different bodily function. I'm going to create a different chemical structure within my own being of light. I'm going to metabolize more light than I've ever metabolized before, which gives me more energy than I've ever had before to play with and to curate a new reality. But I can't do that if I'm still seeing these emotions and pain that I've had as separate or bad or wrong. So coming home, complete acceptance over and over again.
Yeah. I really love that. I'd say because many times we can be trapped in the emotions of maybe judging what happened, what's the experience that we had, or how we felt, or what we did, and feeling regrets, and just keep focusing on that. Maybe unconsciously, sometimes we think that somehow this will change the experience, but like you said, when we welcome every part of us and we become present for that and allow all these emotions to flow through us, it's how to say, it takes courage, but also it's don't to use the word responsible, being responsible, but yeah, it's what we are asked to do, to welcome every part of us and to love ourselves as we are. And also I think we are invited to live now life one moment at a time, more and more. And especially like, for example, when we have big decisions to make, many times we focus all our energy uh, onto that. So how can we maybe practice or something that can help us to be in the present moment and allow things or decisions to come when it's the right timing?
Perfect. I can't remember if I did this one time on here or if it was a YouTube video. Okay, so we'll just practice right here. Close your eyes. Whatever is going on in your life, whatever you're pulling forward into the now, this is how we're going to let it go. Imagine that there is a line, just a long linear line right in front of you. And on that linear line, there's all these different bubbles. But right in front of you is the bubble. Take a breath and step into the bubble. Just step right into that bubble. Look around. The bubble is empty. There's absolutely nothing here. It's just space. So your crap isn't in this bubble. It's back and it's outside somewhere. And it's up to you whether you want to pull that forward into this bubble or just keep this bubble empty. But again, this bubble is a sphere. So inside the sphere, you can look all different directions. Look around at all the different parts of you. There's so much space. There's nothing here defining you. There's nothing here. And then through intention, if you have an intention, if you have a question about what is your highest and best next step, if there's something you would like to receive or experience, then you can bring that into the bubble. But you have to phrase it like a question. If we phrase it like a statement, the old programming we had around the answer is going to come forward. So if we phrase it like a question, I would like to experience this. And then you'll notice whatever it is, it's just free floating. This is the quantum. It's uncharged particles of energy that are full of infinite potential. So if you phrase your question and you just let it hang there, you don't have to, and you never want to ask how or when, because then we place time. The intrusion of time comes in. So if we just ask the question and let that question hang there, then it allows all these particles of energy that are uncharged, unprogrammed, to begin to line up and turn into the answer or the reality, into particle form for you. And if we practice this over and over, stepping into this hollow sphere of light, we can begin to charge the now moment with what we want to actually feel. So if we charge this moment with a question, or I would like to experience this, or I would like to receive this, or I would like to have this kind of mystical experience, and then begin to charge the bubble with the emotions that you would feel if that thing actually happened. But you charge the present moment now with that energy. And we start to feel gratitude and excitement and play and joy at this new experience that's right here, right now. Again, we don't know how and we don't know when, but right here, right now are the wave formations. They are here, and they will rearrange themselves into particle form to come into your reality. And if you just want space and pure nothingness, then you just continue to step into the hollow circle, the hollow sphere of light. And the more you practice it, the greater the heart-brain coherence becomes, the more unprogrammed we become, and the greater amounts of light and energy that are available for us to play with within our own field, because that sphere that we stepped into is in your heart. Sometimes it's easier to see when we see it in front of ourselves, but now imagine that sphere being inside you. For some of you, it's in your heart. For some of you, it's in your womb. But that present moment on the timeline is within you, always, always available. So you can breathe into it, you can expand it, play with it. If you charged it with something, you can turn it into a basketball and shoot it. Would you please walk us through accepting a past experience and raising the vibration of it? Perfect. From this place, we're in the now moment. So in this place, there's the sphere on the timeline that is present. Look behind to the past on this timeline and see all those past spheres on the timeline, full of dread and shame, fear, someone screaming, being insufficient. I want you to take a pen and pop all of those balloons. Pop whatever balloon has the experience in it. Just imagine taking the pen, like taking a pen to a balloon, and the balloon pops. Same thing, and then as it pops, all that energy is released, and I want you to bring all of that energy back home. Imagine bringing it all back into your body, pulling it all back home. Bringing it back into your root. And maybe you want to laugh about it. What a crappy creation I played in. So bring all that energy back in and let's laugh at our junk. And then I want you to bring that back up through your sacral, intentionally pulling it up into your solar plexus. Loving, honoring, pulling it up into your heart space. Into that now moment, that now bubble of light. And when you bring it into the now moment, you realize there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's just space. So breathe deeply. And as it turns back into divine love, it's turning back into potential. Pure potential, uncharged programs, uncharged from everything. It's just free floating energy waiting to be played with. And when you're ready, you can begin to come back. And if you notice there's any other arrows pointing out, just point them right back at you and bring them back up through the root. Back up into that bubble of pure potential that is the now moment, which is divine love.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I love that practice because how I saw it, because like maybe the past momentums that we created, which was dance, it was very loud and distracting. So we couldn't like create a new momentum. And with that practice, it's like we created a safe space where we could create that new momentum and allowing it to get stronger and stronger. And also when we were puffing up the past bubbles, the current one was really getting really big and expanded, and the energy felt really really empowering. So yeah, I really love that. Thank you.
Good.
And
It is, there's so much more energy to play with, and it just keeps growing because we become our own alchemists. I felt laughter. I looked at something that I had created and I was like, that was not smart. But I wasn't judging it. I was just laughing because of like, why, whatever. I did it. I experienced it. Okay. I'm going to bring that back into a place of divine love. I'm going to bring that. And so we are alchemizing it by accepting it and shifting the frequency. So by the time it gets back to our heart, it's completely unprogrammed, just pure potential energy that we get to then play with again. At the end, I felt the potency of 0 point. That's exactly it.
Elizabeth, you're right. I like the idea that my past experience was source energy in a different frequency.
Yes, everything comes from source. Everything.
Beautiful. So yeah, we will start taking question in a couple of minutes. So everyone, if you are on Zoom and you want to ask your question, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. If you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9, and also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And before that, Erika, I would love if we can take a few minutes to talk about the program you are offering. So we have a group masterclass, which is happening on July 22nd, and also a one-on-one private session with you. And yeah, I invite everyone to visit the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erika, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erika, ERICA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live event page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. Yeah, so Erika, I would love if you can tell us about the program.
I wanted to keep it really simple, and the class itself is going to be an extension of what we're talking about today. Now, I can't ever say, there's a lot of people on here that have taken a lot of my classes. I can't ever say exactly what's going to happen in a class because I just open myself up to be a clear conduit of light. But we reach in and we dive into the deepest parts of us. And what my team of light is really good at doing is shifting perspective. So like today we shifted perspective of pain. We brought it in and realized, oh, that's source energy. So I can alchemize it and turn it back into pure potential. We're going to be doing the same thing, just on a much deeper level and across multiple timelines. So we're going to bring in all the different timelines from past, present, and future and pull that energy into the here and now. We're going to, so that we can, same way we played with our past today of popping those balloons, we can play with our future and bring that into the present and utilize that energy as well. So it's a whole lot of play. It's a whole lot of play. And private sessions with me, each one is very different. And it's difficult to say exactly what we'll do because it's very much guided by your soul and what you need at that time. And everyone's direct needs are so unique to them. So I just leave that open-ended.
Yeah, like from my experience, I really love the one-on-one sessions I had with you, and I really learned that like to come without expectations because it's been always much better than what I expected, and it opened up like new things that maybe I wasn't aware of, and really were very very helpful for me on my path. So yeah, thank you so much, Erika, for offering the one-on-one session and also the group class. Um, yeah, and everyone, I invite you to sign up for this program on the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erica, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erica, ERICA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also is available on YouTube video description and the chat boxes. And yeah, the group class will happen on July 22nd. And if you can join live, there will be a recording as well. Beautiful. So yeah,
My thing for everyone is about self-empowerment. Everyone has gifts. Everyone is self-healed and self-healing. So whether it's a group class or private session, it's never my intention to be your healer or your spiritual guru. That's not how this works. My job is, someone asked, how do we become a divine conduit of light? And it's through asking questions and being aware of your intentions and the energy within it. I know that I know nothing. That's what I am most certain of. I don't know anything. So if I come at it from that perspective, then I'm continually able to open doors into different levels of consciousness and be clear, because I don't have any kind of constructs of how it should come through me or how you should perceive it, because I don't know. So I'm only one aspect of the divine. Of course, if I reach higher, I am all, I am whole. And when I'm channeling, being in the Council of Light, when I'm channeling, I am connecting to that aspect of me that is them, not separate from them. But again, the human part of me doesn't know anything. So I'm connecting into something that is so much larger than myself, because that's the intention that I hold. But we all have the availability to do this. We all have doors within ourselves that we can open to gain access to these different realms of light. It's a divine love. And that's where the answers lie. But what comes through you and what comes through me is going to be different, because my source energy codes are different than yours. So we might be speaking about the same concept, but my perception and the sphere of light that I'm looking through, even if I'm looking through it from 15 different perspectives, it's going to be different than your 15 different perspectives, because it's reflecting through the light that I am differently than you. So my job is just to be clear and open and gift you the insight and ability to be the same and do the same and feel the same. But we can't get there if we don't trust ourselves, because we won't have the right chemical response. Our nervous systems won't be calm enough. So every class that I teach, Elizabeth, we're going to start out by breathing deeply, by getting the nervous system really calm, by taking your brain from the outside to the inside to slow your brain waves down so that we can create coherence, so that your body relaxes and begins to trust the healing process that you are initiating, that I'm just holding space for you to step into. I love this question. Can you expand your energy codes? Of course you can. That's what we're here to do. We can't do that, though, if we're getting covered over by these outside stories. So the idea of self-consumption and coming home over and over again by bringing our energy back home and consuming only what is ours, that's what allows us to dive into our source energy codes and begin to unwind them and allow them to express the light that it is. Does that help, Monsef?
yeah, 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 absolutely. And yeah, I love what you mentioned earlier, because like how we see it, like we are now called to really shift the way we see energy, healing, spirituality, because for a long time we were maybe wanting someone to give us everything or to do things for us. But now it's more like approaching that from a sovereign being and co-creating with the person we are receiving support or guidance from. And I really felt that working with you in the past, because it felt like really empowering. And to the experience, I felt much more confidence in my gifts and in my true power. And I really loved that the way you approach that. Um, because yeah, in the end, like we are all the same. We are all sovereign beings, and we are all gifted. It just we are mirroring and helping each other and co-creating in this experience here on Earth. Um, yeah, so yeah, just wanted to
Absolutely.
share that. And and
Perfect.
yeah, so again, if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand on Zoom or type it on the chat boxes. Um,
Um,
Judy, yeah,
I think people are having problems asking questions because I feel so relaxed now that I could fall
yeah,
asleep.
yeah,
The reason why you're relaxed is because your nervous system is really calm in your home. So if you calmed your nervous system down to a place of self-consumption and self-trust, then your soul slides down into your body further, and the questions you realize aren't really outside of yourself. You're able to come home and hold space for yourself to answer them. And then sometimes the questions disappear altogether because you're open in your home. And you realize at that point you're whole and complete.
yeah, beautiful. And Annette, are our energy codes like our blueprint?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now they're coming in so fast. Our energy codes are like they are, so if you can imagine pure source energy being this magnificent thing, I know that our brains don't have the ability to like form a concept around source energy. And then source energy took an aspect of itself and birthed the soul. And the soul, yours, and it birthed how many billions of different souls. And each soul carries different aspects of source energy. So your codes of light are specific to you. Your code of radiance, your sacred geometry, everything that you are is specifically designed for you. And only you carry all that that is in the way that you carry it. So as the light reflects through your codes of light, the way that it reflects is unique to you. So the way that you reflect that back out to the world, that's why everyone's gifts are so different, because as light is coming through you, like each channel is so different, right? So as light is, if we open ourselves up to be this clear conduit, and I'm allowing all these frequencies that I'm connected to come and flow through me, how they flow through the rays of light that I am and how they get refracted back out into the world is specific to me. And but we are all, since we are all part of the one, I can share that with you all, and that's why you guys can feel and trust. However, if your body's trusting what I'm saying right now and it relaxed into it, it's because there is a remembrance there. There is a shared energy. There is a shared code of light there. But it's, as you bring it into your body, it becomes specific to you. Hope that helps.
Yeah.
Did that make sense, Monsef?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we have
Does our,
Percy, or you want to?
well, I saw this and I think this is important. Does our
Yeah,
soul essence change as we evolve, or do we ascend to the soul essence we came here with? Your soul essence has never left. It's just been covered over. So your soul essence looks a lot like, I mean, like your source energy code. That's what I would call your soul essence. It very much mimics like a strand of DNA. And we know that if you beam negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions at DNA, those frequencies will make the DNA coil really tight to protect itself. And when it coils really tight, codes of light shut down within it. And that brings on disease states and stuff. So as we release these programmings and come home to ourselves over and over again, our soul essence begins to expand back out and light back up. And then you have more access to the gifts that you have to share, deeper wisdom that wants to come through you, It's really when you begin to tap into your multidimensional self, because each little coat of light is like a doorway to a different level of consciousness that you get to play with. So as we uncover ourselves from all this stuff and come home over and over again and accept all that we are, then we have access to open these doors and play with more of our light.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Linda, for the question. Elizabeth, I agree with myself that I feel empowered. When I have a one-on-one session with Erica, I also feel great love and acceptance. As I replay my sessions, I continue to hear and feel more as I'm ready for my wisdom codes to open. Beautiful. Tracy, can you please unmute yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Everything that we've talked about today has felt very resonant for me. And the question I have is that my body is having a hard time sustaining the spiritual expansion that I'm seeking and pursuing. And I do have a chronic illness. I have MS, and the most handicapping part of it for me is the fatigue, which affects all of my central nervous system. So it's both my body and organs and my brain. And so what happens when I have some of these sort of up levelings or releases is that it just knocks me over, and it gets hard to take care of life, take care of my body. And I'm stuck because I can tell that the expansion is raising my vibration, but I don't know how to sustain that. So anything you could tell me would be helpful.
I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I yawn when I release energy.
Yeah, no, I can see having.
So I saw your body's like, I just get wiped out. And there's a very big disconnect in your body between your spine and your chakra system. So they should be working together, but you have these blocks in the middle of your back, like these, I don't want to call them deficiencies, like your consciousness is calling them deficiencies. They've come up as deficiencies within yourself. That was the energy of it. So they're really located between kind of like where your bra strap would be and the front or like the bottom lobes of your heart. So your focus when you're doing energy work needs to be, it's flowing up the chakra, it's not flowing up the spine. So I want you to intentionally first relax, just really breathe deeply and tell your body, I'm not going to push you. I accept you completely the way that you are. I just want to help you move this spinal fluid up my spine so that I can properly flush my brain. Your brain's not flushing twice a day like it normally should. So the methylation processes and things aren't really able to occur as acutely as they should. So it's a closed pump system. The spine should be flushing from the base of the spine up into your brain at least twice a day, and then it goes back down, and then it travels back up, and it should do that twice a day. I have a medical background, in case you're wondering. So it should be doing that twice a day, but yours is getting stuck right about that, like that bra level, right there in the middle of your back. So I'm just going to unplug it just a little bit. I don't want it to become overwhelmed. So just take a deep breath. And with that area, that energy, and anybody can do this if you're feeling pain in your body, imagine again that timeline in your heart and that bubble of the now moment. So just breathe into the restriction or the pain. And you don't need to know why. We don't, in this instant, we don't need to know the story. We just say, I accept you as you are. Thank you. I want you to breathe into it and then slowly begin to move it into that sphere, into your heart. But with each breath, just say, I accept all that you are. And then when you say that, you'll probably notice that your stomach begins to get tight. Like I can feel your stomach get tight. So just continue to breathe into that and allow that to move up. I accept all that you are. Now you can feel it tight in your solar plexus. I accept all that you are. That was a crazy creation that we played with, but I accept all that you are. And sometimes if you can't get to a place where you're accepting of it or wanting to laugh about it, because if we can get to a place where we want to laugh about it, that's super helpful. So an image that always comes to my mind is when I've stubbed my toe, like on a chair or something, and then you cuss and you're like, son of a, and you cuss and then you kind of laugh at it and it helps move it, right? You cussed and you laughed and you're like, that was why. So if you can that's the kind of energy we want to kind of build, because again, it goes back to play. I'm just playing here. That's all we're doing. None of this matters. We're just playing and experiencing. So if I can build that kind of energy, then okay, I can accept that. I accept all that you are. I was just playing with trash is what I was playing with. So I'm going to breathe that up into my heart. There, and by the time you bring it up into your heart, it's pretty neutral, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't have power over you anymore.
Yeah.
That's your practice.
And so do that even when I'm not feeling any sort of source of pain or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah. Just,
about
just
easing
breathe. Yep.
spinal
Just
cord.
breathe up your spine and imagine all that getting flushed up into your brain. Like just breathing nice and easy. And just imagine, like, hold the intention that we're just going to flush. I mean, we all should be practicing this every once in a while. It's just flushing that spinal fluid, because the spinal fluid is a big part of what's shifting, because it's all fluid, right? It's all water, so that has a lot of crystalline structures within it and is reflecting out. We often forget that and we just focus on our chakra system. Normally, when they're working well, they work tandemly together. But sometimes when we're out of flow or we're having a lot of bodily issues, they separate. So that's all right. Yours is just separated. Breathe into it, breathe it up into your heart.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tracy. And also thank you, Erica, for the guidance. Linda, she wrote, that was a great explanation. Thank you. And Nia, she's asking, she feels, she feel and sense a lot of tightness, blockages, and congestion in the vagus nerve and liver area.
Well, it's like a big hole. So, like, really, the restrictions coming from actually no flow there. Like, there doesn't feel like there's any flow there. So breathe into it. And it's really just a bunch of trapped fear. So everyone can play with fear. So take fear and treat it like a human. And see the fear. And just say, thank you for trying to save my life. This was from 3 lifetimes ago, and it just came back. So just say, thank you for trying to save my life. But this is a different lifetime, so you did your job, and you don't have to do it in this way any longer. And send the fear love, and bring that fear up through you, thanking it, giving it love and gratitude, and then bringing it up into your heart. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nia, and thank you, Erica. And we have Svetlana. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking my question. I am right now in huge transition, especially professionally, and kind of reinventing myself and my life. And I would like to get support to move forward with clarity and confidence, because there are, many things that are kind of playing out. And yeah, I would like to receive support to move forward with clarity and confidence.
Okay. And how? How would you like to receive support? Would you like to receive support through your own being of light?
Yes.
So take a big breath. And breathe into your root. And there's a decision that has to be made. Do you want to be your own puppet master? So what we mean by that,
I mean, yes, please explain.
yes. So take another breath and say, I am. I am the creator. And I am the created. I am the master.
I am the master.
And I am the student.
And I am the student
of my own creations.
of my own creations.
And then you can ask for, you have such a large presence with you. Ask for your highest self to come in. And I want you to take all those strings that you have allowed to escape you when you've looked outside of yourself for answers. I want you to take all of those strings back and give them over to her. And then you decide, I trust all that I am. I trust in my own creation. I am the student of my own design. I am choosing to harness my own energy. To employ all that I am. To represent all that I am. To express all that I am. To play with all that I am. And to move forward with all that I am. And now, how do you feel, and where do you feel majority of your energy? You're on mute.
Yeah,
Oh,
can you unmute yourself? There was an
yes.
echo.
Yeah, how I feel. So the majority of my energy, it's actually weird. I cannot really. I'm feeling it's kind of more higher in the body. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and yeah,
It's in your high heart.
yeah.
When you realized your I am, yep, it's in there. When you allowed yourself to come home to that, all those strings for all the answers that you were seeking somewhere else came back into the body. So you didn't have a clear direction because you had so many strings going in so many different directions. So I can't say that this is the timeline that you're going to be walking on because you got like 27 different timelines. Most of us usually do. So you need to become really, really clear with what do you want to feel? And that will guide you to the timeline that's the highest and best for you. What do I want to feel and what do I want to experience? Bring that into your heart, into that now moment over and over again, and that will place your energy on the timeline that is the highest and best. There's no wrong timeline, but what is going to bring you the most joy? What's going to allow you to play the hardest? So you have to decide what it is you really want. That will locate your energy within you to be able to play with it, to put it on and direct you to the timeline that's the highest and best.
Svetlana, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you. So the highest timeline is not necessarily one that I would enjoy.
Then, well, it's what you want. What do you want to do? Do you want to play? If you want to play,
Yes.
there's we're used to saying highest and best, but it's the highest and best for what? What do you want to experience? Do I
For me,
want to experience the most romantic love in my life? Okay, what's the highest and best timeline for that? Do I want to experience the most prosperity ever? Okay, what's the highest and best timeline for that? And what do I want to feel? What do I want to experience?
so if I want both.
Then you place both in the bubble. You say, okay, what's the highest and best timeline for all of those to combine and be on the same timeline? But you have to decide what it is you really want to experience. A lot of times we just leave things really wide open, and that's okay. for some people that's perfect because they just want to dabble here and there and they just want to like, but if there is something specific that you really want to experience, or if there's a couple of different things, then okay, well, what do I need to embody? What emotions do I really want to experience? And that is what's going to lead me to the timeline. I have to receive those and feel those emotions first, and that's going to put me on the timeline to experience that thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, 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 it does.
Okay. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Svetlana. And also thank you, Erika. Yeah, I really love the answers. Yeah, many times, like you mentioned, we keep things open, but we forget to really be clear about what we want. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for sharing that. And the question from Annette: can you help explain a vision I had seen myself as a child removing a thick furry costume and climbed onto a lap and then got down wearing a lighter bluish fairy-like costume?
Isn't it fun seeing all your different lives? You're playing. You're playing with these different aspects of your multidimensionality. Of course, you've been an animal, and when you allow that wisdom to come in because you're bringing all that energy back home and turning it inward, when you have played as a fairy and you've allowed yourself to bring that energy back home and embody it, instead of looking outside to receive answers from fairies or from animals, it's turning all of those things where we're looking outside of ourselves, turning all those arrows back in, being, okay, well, that aspect of me that was that aspect of me that was this, I'm going to bring this all back home. I'm going to bring it all back in and consume that. You're playing, Annette. That's what you're doing. In a fun way, in a really fun way.
Yeah, beautiful. And a question from Linda: do we hold the remembrance of who we are in our higher heart space? I keep hearing remember who you are. Thanks so much.
The remembrance of who we are is everywhere. It's in every cell of your being. It's in every atom of energy that is you. Because your source energy codes are in everything. Everything. They're in your ego, they're in your mind, they're in your body, they're in your mitochondria, they're in your nucleus. It's in everything. And everything has subconscious memory. So when we are healing, when we are rearranging, when we are uncovering ourselves, we're going down to the depths of all over. We're not just rewiring the subconscious mind up here. We're unmeshing and unwiring the subconscious mind that surrounds every organelle because it's imprinted into the blueprint that surrounds everything, giving a directive of how to regenerate. So your whole physicality, down to the tiniest aspect, has a blueprint around it, and the subconscious is located within that blueprint, and it directs how to regenerate all the time, which directs the chemical production and so on and so forth. So when we are remembering the truth of who we are and we're starting to come back in and self-consume, we're rewiring our blueprint to be an expression of our source energy codes. So it's rewiring the blueprint, which then rewires and allows for an opening and expansion of your source energy codes on all level throughout every aspect of your being.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Erika, and thank you, Linda, for your question. We have a couple of questions about physical issues. Is that okay?
think I have
Maybe they
like
can.
5 more minutes, and then
Yeah.
I've got to pop off and take my
Oh,
kids somewhere.
okay. So, yeah, yeah, like these questions normally it takes it needs more time to approach. Maybe do you have maybe any last message to our audience before we complete?
I just I just want you guys to play. That's what I
Mm,
want you to do. And if we come at this from I can't do it wrong. I've never done it wrong because nobody here knows what they're doing. It takes the pressure off. If you can take the pressure off, take a deep breath, then again, it's all about relaxing the nervous system to be able to embody yourself more fully, to trust yourself more fully, to produce a different set of chemicals. So it's self-consumption always, and doing it through a space of play.
yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Erika. Yeah, so grateful to you for everything you shared with us today, for the support you offer to our callers, and yeah, also for the masterclass you are offering. So, and also the one-on-one session. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's always a joy to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for playing with me and being willing just to maybe open up and have a slightly different perspective of how you operate and being willing to digest yourself more fully. I love that. I love when people come into a place of self-empowerment. So thank you for playing with me.
Yeah, beautiful. Linda Shiraz, thank you so much for this amazing call. Jesse, thank you so much. Annette, she sends hearts. Svetlana, thank you. Abby, thank you. Sylvia, thank you so much. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us, co-creating with us this call today. It was really a powerful call with all of you, with Erika, everyone participating. And yeah, so again, I invite you to sign up to join the group masterclass that's Erika is offering on July 22nd, and there will be a recording as well. And also there is 20 minutes one-on-one private session with her. And again, the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erika, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Erika, ERICA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, thank you again, everyone. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.